In this video, we're going to show you how to set up your LCD. Now make sure you look at the documentation as you're trying to wire this. Some things must be certain ways, others are not, depending what you're trying to program. I'm going to just show you how to wire the very basic one that's following the documentation. So the first thing we're going to want to do is plug in all these pins into our breadboard somewhere. So I'm going to just slide this Arduino down a little bit. I'm going to make it so I can access all of these pins underneath so I can plug things in easily. So we're just going to line it up and then gently push it in there. And there we go. So it may be a little bit upside down for you, but it's going to make my wires a lot shorter and a lot easier to see where they're going. I'm going to start from the right side. Now I'm actually going to do all the grounds at once. It's just going to make my life a lot easier. I am going to want to set up a ground bar because otherwise I'm going to run out of grounds. There's only 3 here and I've got 4 wires that I need to go to ground. So setting up my ground bar. So going from my ground bar to my ground. Give me my step 1. Now all the things that need to go into the ground bar are the VSS. So on my right side or on the very edge here, that needs to go to the ground bar. Now these don't actually need to be in line, but I do think it's easier to look at that way. So we're going to move that out of the way. You do need quite a few wires for this. Next is V0. So for me, V0 is this third one here. So I'm going to put that also to the ground bar. And then RW, so our read-write. And that's going to be our 5th one over. So same thing, we're going to go from the 5th one and then to our ground bar. All right, we also need K, which is all the way on the left side. That is also running to our ground bar. So there's quite a few there, all in a row. Or at least all that need ground, not necessarily in a row. From here, I am just going to go right to left. They are all going to go to different places. So next we have the VDD. That's our main voltage in. So it does need 5 volts. So I'm going to plug that in. It's a little difficult now that I've put both grounds on each side. I'm going to sneak it in there. And it's going to go all the way to 5 volts. So that's across on my board. Now I don't need to set up a power bar over here. I could, it might make it easier if I had other components to do. All right, so that 5 volts goes in there. All right, the next one I want to do is E. So E is just going to go to our digital inputs here. Now these digital inputs don't have to be exactly what I'm saying, but you do have to change the code accordingly. Now it does look like I skipped RS. I said E, but I should have done RS first. And I will put RS all the way to 12. Again, we're just copying our documentation, not that it necessarily has to go there. All right, so we're going to try to sneak this out without covering too much up. So we're going to go to 12. And then E, which is what I wanted to do a little bit earlier here, it's going to go to 11. It is nice when they're together, so it's a little easier to write in the code. So put in E, and I'll sneak that around as well. Again, try not to block too much of what you can see. So going into 11, there we go. And you can see the wires are starting to get enough, it's actually starting to push the board. Moving on, I am going to skip D1, D2, and D3. You wouldn't always do this depending on your application. For our purposes, we can skip those, and we're going to go to D4. D4, I'm going to put to 5. So sneak that in there. There we go. It's on to 5. And then from there, we actually are going nice. D5 is going to 4. Now, trying to find the same ones, same length, might be helpful. I'll do my best. So D5. It's going to 4, and if it annoys you that it feels like those are one off from each other, it's fine. All right, so now you can see because I've reversed this, everything's kind of reversed to maybe what you'd like to do. And then we have D6, so that's going to go to 3. And it is starting to get so messy, it's hard to see what's going on. And then the last one, or second last one, is D7, and that's going to go to 8. Or sorry, 2. There we go. D7, go to 2. So again, these are all in the row. They don't have to be in a row. It's just nicer to code them. And they are. There we go. I know it's kind of hard to see, but they're all there. Some are in the way more than others. Now this is where somebody who is actually making this might want to solder it if you're going to have it forever. Yeah, because all these wires is obviously not going to be great for longevity. The last one is the A. Now that one's going to control our contrast. I would definitely put it to the 3.3 volts. I would not put it to the 5 volts if it was me. It does still work, just doesn't look as nice. So 3.3 volts, so you can just see where I put that there. It's way over here, right next to 5 volts, and you can put the A. And it's hard to believe that all these wires will actually work, and it's going to work as long as the code matches what we've done. Again, this just matches the documentation.